religious building. The foreground was occupied by a female figure, arrayed in a species of white robe, part of which is arranged so as to form a veil. The dress, however, is not strictly that of any religious order. In its hand, the figure bears a lamp, by whose light alone the form and face are illuminated. The features are marked by an arch smile, such as pretty women wear when engaged in successfully practising some roguish trick. In the background, and, excepting where the dim red light of an expiring fire serves to define the form totally in the shade, stands the figure of a man, equipped in the old fashion, with doublet and so forth, in an attitude of alarm, his hand being placed upon the hilt of his sword, which he appears to be in the act of drawing. "There are some pictures," said I to my friend, "which impress one, I know not how, with a conviction that they represent not the mere ideal shapes and combinations which have floated through the imagination of the artist, but scenes, faces, and situations which have actually existed. When I look upon that picture, something assures me that I behold the representation of a reality." Vandale smiled, and, fixing his eyes upon the painting musingly, he said, "Your fancy has not deceived you, my good friend, for that picture is the record, and I believe a faithful one, of a remarkable and mysterious occurrence. It was painted by Schalken, and contains, in the face of the female figure, which occupies the most prominent place in the design, an accurate portrait of Rose Velderkaust, the niece of Gerard Dow, the first and, I believe, the only love of Godfrey Schalken." My father knew the painter well, and from Schalken himself he learned the story of the mysterious drama, one scene of which the picture has embodied. This painting, which is accounted a fine specimen of Schalken's style, was bequeathed to my father by the artist's will, and, as you have observed, is a very striking and interesting production. I had only to request Vandale to tell the story of the painting in order to be gratified, and thus it is that I am enabled to submit to you a faithful recital of what I heard myself, leaving you to reject or to allow the evidence upon which the truth of the tradition depends, with this one assurance, that Schalken was an honest, blunt Dutchman, and, I believe, wholly incapable of committing a flight of imagination, and further, that Vandale, from whom I heard the story, appeared firmly convinced of its truth. There are few forms upon which the mantle of mystery and romance could seem to hang more ungracefully than upon that of the uncouth and clownish Schalken, the Dutch boor, the rude and dogged but most cunning worker in oils, whose pieces delight the initiated of the present day, almost as much as his manners disgusted the refined of his own. And yet this man, so rude, so dogged, so slovenly, I had almost said so savage in mien and manner during his after successes, had been selected by the capricious goddess in his early life to figure as the hero of a romance, by no means devoid of interest or of mystery. Who can tell how meet he may have been in his young days to play the part of the lover or of the hero? Who can say that in early life he had been the same harsh, unlicked and rugged boor that, in his maturer age, he proved, or how far the neglected rudeness which afterwards marked his air and garb and manners may not have been the growth of that reckless apathy not unfrequently produced by bitter misfortunes and disappointments in early life? These questions can never now be answered. We must content ourselves, then, with a plain statement of facts, or what have been received and transmitted as such, leaving matters of speculation to those who like them.